windows down, scattered clouds, smell of spring.
Hi lovelies! Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Maria and today's video is going to be me going through 10 books that I want to prioritise this autumn. So I do have more than 10 books on my physical TBR that I know I want to get to in a autumn season, but these are ones that I've picked out that are either just really interesting to me at the moment or some of my older, more autumn leaning books that I really just need to read. I've had them on my shelf for far too long and need to really prioritise them and pick them up. So we're just going to go through those today, go through the 10 books that I'm hoping to get to over the next couple of months. It may roll into December as well, but for the most part I'll be trying to read these over the next couple of months along with some of my other books that I'm really trying to prioritise as well. So I think over the next few months I am going to try and concentrate on reading a lot of backlist physical TBR. I have been doing that over the past couple of months and it's been working quite well, so I think I'm going to continue to try and do that, read the books that I have on my TBR. The TBR is always going to grow, so no guarantees I'll be better off by the end of this year than I was at the start, but these are 10 books that I've picked out that I'm really interested in picking up over the next few months, so let's just go through all of my selections. So the first two I'm going to talk about together because they are both from the same author, but I've read quite a lot from this author, but I haven't read a lot of her horror leaning stuff, and that author is Kingfisher. So I've read a lot of her more dark fairy tale retelling stories and really want to delve into her more horror leaning stories, and what better time to do it than spooky season. So the two books I have from her are A House with Good Bones and The Hollow Places, and I think A House with Good Bones is about a woman who goes back to her family home in suburbia, and it was always quite a refuge for her, but it's turned very sterile. Her mother has kind of changed, they're very rigid in terms of things that they're doing, and I believe the longer she stays in this house the more strange things start to be. So that's all it really says in the synopsis, so absolutely no idea what this will end up being about, but definitely intrigued to read it given how much I really love Kingfisher's writing style and her characters. I feel like I'll be really immersed in this. I'm hoping they're not too creepy. I am a bit of a wimp when it comes to horror, so I'm hoping they're maybe a little gory rather than creepy, but I don't know, I haven't read any of her horror stuff, so we'll see how this one goes. This one is slightly different. It's about a woman who finds this bunker in her uncle's house. There's some words written there. She becomes obsessed with it. I believe it kind of leads to these alternate realities, and again, that's all I really know about this one. I've seen a lot of praise for this one, and this one I think is a bit more like folkloric horror, so I definitely read a little bit of that before and did really enjoy it, so hoping this will be a win as well. And as I say, I just really love Kingfisher's writing, so I think both of these will be really successful for me, and hoping they're not too scary, hoping they're a bit more gory and maybe just thriller-esque rather than pure horror, but we'll see if I make it through these. Next up I've got A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I think you've probably heard of this one. I believe it follows Dracula's wives. It's a feminist retelling, and I think it's kind of about them taking their power back from Dracula, I'm guessing, within the story. Now, I have read from S.T. Gibson before, and it was actually the companion kind of interconnected standalone of this series, and I didn't really love it. I didn't love the story that was there. I did like the writing. I really enjoyed the writing style, but the story for me fell a little bit flat. But I did see a lot of people who had read this and then moved on to that next book. I think it was An Education in Malice or something like that, who said they absolutely loved this and didn't love that one, so I'm still holding out hope that I might end up enjoying this one. I have read Dracula, really enjoyed it. Very different than what I thought the story was going to be, but definitely enjoyed reading that kind of source material, and I love a feminist retelling. I think this is sapphic as well, so again, spooky season is the perfect time to read this one if I'm going to read it. October or November maybe is the perfect month to read this book, so had it on my shelf basically since it came out in paperback and just need to pick it up. So hopefully this year is the year that I do end up reading it. Next up is Gothikana by Rewitched, and this one has just been on my shelf for a long time. I think since it came out. I'm pretty sure it came out in paperback in the UK. This one is a dark academia. I think it's more of a romance-led dark academia from my understanding. It's set in kind of a castle atop a mountain, and I believe it's to do with her relationship with this young girl and her professor, so a bit of a forbidden love aspect in there. I'm guessing there's a mystery that they're going to get entangled in and have to work together, but that's all I really know about this one. But I just heard a lot of people saying that they really loved it. If you like dark academia but you do like romance as well, this is kind of a perfect pivot book for that, and I like both. I love dark academia, I also like romance, so hoping this will be the perfect mix. And as I say, it's just been on my shelf for too long, so I just need to get to it. Next up I've got another bit of a double whammy with an author that I have read from before, and I've loved some of her stuff, not enjoyed her other stuff so much, so we'll be 50-50 on whether I'll enjoy these ones, and that's Ava Reid. So the first book I have from her is The Wolf and the Woodsman, and essentially I think this is almost like a Beauty and the Beast retelling or something like that, or maybe Little Red Riding Hood, maybe a mix of both. But essentially this is centering this village that every year they sacrifice a woman to this wolf or the woodsman or something like that, and essentially they are on their journey to wherever they take these women each year, and they're attacked on the way, and that's kind of the premise of the story and where it starts. I believe it's enemies to lovers. I think they have to have kind of a tenuous this pact to work together to survive whatever they've been attacked by. Again, that's all I know about this one, but I do know that Ava Reid's writing is usually quite atmospheric, it's quite gothic, quite lyrical. So hoping I will enjoy this one. I have had a mix of kind of reactions to her writing. I really love to study in Drowning. However, I did read Lady Macbeth and I liked the writing style, but I didn't love how she executed that one. It wasn't a book really for me. But overall, the general kind of message is that I do end up loving her writing. So the premise of this sounds like something I will eat up and I'll really enjoy. So hoping I'll be successful with this one. Then the next one I have is Juniper and Thorn, and I think I'm going to prioritise this one over the other one just because it sounds so good. I think it's about feminine rage. I think it's quite witchy vibes. I think we kind of see this woman being brought up in a very tenuous and abusive family life, and I think we kind of see her taking power back for herself, and it just sounds like it's going to be a really good read. And if you mix that with Ava Reid's writing, I feel like this is going to be a success. So I think I'll probably prioritise this one a bit over The Wolf and the Woodsman because I think I could read that in like December, January, whereas this one, because it has those witchy vibes in it as well, I think spooky season would be the perfect time to read this one, but hopefully I'll be able to fit both of them into the season. But if I have to pick one, it'll probably be this one. Sticking with those witchy vibes, I do have a newer release, which is The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I actually think this author is pretty underrated considering what I've read from her. I've read Mexican Gothic, which I really loved. It was definitely horror leaning. It was a bit more gory than scary, but I did really enjoy it. And then I also loved her book Gods of Shadow and Gods of Jade and Shadow? Gods of Jade and Shadow, I think it is. Really loved that. I thought it was a really unique take on kind of romantasy, but mixed with historical fantasy as well. So if you haven't read those, definitely check those out. This one I believe is spanning 3 kind of generations within this family. They're all intertwined within different timelines by witchcraft, and I believe we'll just be following their individual stories along together and see those threads kind of weave together in the narrative. And I've read a story similar to this before, Wayward by Amelia Hart, and I really loved it. I really loved how that was done. So be really interested to see this one. I think this will be a bit more horror leaning as well, and I think it'll probably have a bit more of those dark themes than Wayward because I think it was more literary. I think this will have that darker theme, and honestly if you add that to Wayward, I loved Wayward, so that added to the kind of creepy dark vibes I think will just be perfection. And as I say, I really love this author's writing, so highly anticipated release for me, and again, spooky season is the perfect time to read this one. So moving on to a few dark academias I want to pick up. The first one is Immortal Dark by Tigis Germa, and this came out last year. I believe the second one is either out or coming out soon, so I do want to get this onto my Autumn TBR. And I actually invested in the Owl Crate edition of this because I'm pretty confident I'm going to love it, so here's hoping. But I got the second hand on Vinted, so I got it for around £10, so it was actually pretty cheap. But this is the Owl Crate edition of it, and it does have some sprayed edges. It has some foiling on the front. Then the person that was selling it did actually add in some overlays, so there are some overlays in there, and it's definitely giving all those dark academic vibes. And all I really know about this one is it's dark academia, it's got vampires in there. I believe we're following a woman who is convinced her sister or something like that was taken by a vampire. They end up trying to research this and trying to link it to certain disappearances that are happening. Something like that. I am going to end this one a little bit blind, just going off vibes. Vampires, dark academia, sign me up. That's all I really needed to know. And I just heard some really great things about this one, so I think I'll try and squeeze this in September, October time as well, just because the dark academia, that's the perfect time for me, I feel, to pick these up. But again, it's just over the next few months. I'm really hoping to be able to pick this one up just because of those vibes. And yeah, here's hoping I do end up loving this one because this edition is really stunning, so I'd hate to have to give it up. Next up is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson, and this one was the Illumicrate edition, so again, it's got quite pretty sprayed edges. We've got some really pretty end papers. Then there is a design on the hardcover as well. This one again, I actually don't really know too much about the actual synopsis. I've just heard it's dark academia. I've seen people absolutely raving about it, giving it 5 stars. I think this has some trials in there. So I mean, you mix the trials with the dark academia, and honestly that's all I really need to know to be sold on this one. So again, I am kind of reading this one based on vibes, but isn't that the perfect way to go into a book? If the vibes are right, honestly it can make the difference between a 3 and a 5 star. So yeah, I'm probably not going to read too much more into the synopsis. I'm probably just going to go into it a little bit blind, read through it, enjoy the process as I do read it, and hopefully I'm one of the people that ends up giving this one 5 stars as well. And then lastly, just to round out all that darkness, is Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, I believe. Yes, Lucy Jane Wood. This is a bit of a cozy witchy read. I believe it's about this young witch who has to do these trials or prove that she is worthy of getting her magic back. I believe the witch runs a bookshop, so I mean, could the vibes get any more cozy? And I believe the FMC in here is a little bit older. I believe she's 30, and I think it just has a lot of found family, a little bit of romance in there as well. And just sounds like it's going to be the perfect book if you've got a cold and rainy day, you have a nice cup of tea, you can sit down and read this one, and hopefully it'll feel like a warm hug of a book. So need to break up that darkness a little bit, and I do have the Waterstone special edition of this one. Again, I got this on sale, I think it was around £10, and it does have some cute sprayed edges on there as well. So definitely want to get to this one because the second one, I think it's an interconnected standalone series, but there's a second one coming out in this one and the covers are so cute. I really want to get the second one, but kind of feel like I should read this one first. So I may end up listening to this one via audiobook really soon so that I can get that special edition. So that's it. That's the 10 books I'm hoping to get to this autumn season. I do, as I say, have a whole host of books that I will be hoping to get to over the next few months, but need to be realistic. I work a 9-to-5 job, I do YouTube, I have Bookstagram, I have other hobbies as well, mostly centering around books, but I do have a life outside of reading, as much as I begrudge it. So I need to be realistic in what I will actually pick up, and if I put these on my TBR for the next couple of months, I feel like it is a realistic goal to be able to get to these, but hopefully I'll be able to get to some of those other backlist items that are on the back of my mind, but really will be trying to prioritise these 10. So let me know if you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts and feelings, and let me know what you're prioritising this autumn season. I don't know if everyone is kind of a seasonal reader like myself. I do think I read basically fantasy all year, but the tone behind the fantasy usually does change depending on what time of year it is, so I can definitely say that I think I'm a seasonal reader, but let me know if you are and what books you'll be prioritising this autumn. And if you don't have anything to comment, just put a little pumpkin emoji to let me know you got to the end. If you like this video, do remember to give it a like, and if you want to see more from me, remember to subscribe. I post 2 videos per week and it's videos like this, so TBR videos, book recommendations, reading vlogs, all good bookish things like that. Other than that, thanks so much for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye!
Open road, you sitting close. Let's go somewhere far away.